Alright, this is part 2 of the Lorex camera system, the final part. We have three issues that we haven't parts we haven't shown yet: playback, events, and camera. This is for the DVR output, and some of these settings you have to do for the DVR output. They're not available through the app or through the URL. So let's go to playback. This is the part that I really don't use all that much, because you can get all your playback information from your camera or for your phone and all that pretty much. But this is like, it keeps like 6 or 7 days of camera information. Right now we're on today, and it defaults to showing 4 cameras only, which is alright. And when you open it, it's automatically playing. So let's say you move this little cursor here, you can see that it's recording and it's playing back in real time, all 4 cameras. And to change it to a different camera, you actually have to physically stop the playback. Then you could select a camera, and you could also change the date at that time too, like yesterday or the day before. And then you start playing it, and as soon as you start playing it, that's when you can move the cursor and see different times of the day. And you could save it to you could cut out a section and save it to a USB stick. So that's how you would do that. Right now it's playing back from HDD. You can play back from a USB. You could stop it and then play back from an I/O device like a USB stick or something. So that feature's there. I don't really use it all that much. You can actually make a snapshot of an image that's playing back and save it to your USB too, but I don't really use this all that much, but it's available. Alright, then you got events. Events you're going to use smart search, facial detection. You can have it so that you create a database of your family's faces and stuff, and this thing will detect who it is. And then you can send alerts and events to your phone and stuff if somebody you know is there. It's kind of useless to me, I don't know, but it will keep track of people, I guess, that it facially recognizes. I don't know how good the system is. I don't really put too much credence into like the actual ability for that to do that. It uses space on your drive and uses CPU time, so I really don't have any interest for this, but it's available. Face detection. Face recognition, you can actually save your database that you create, a face database, and then go over here and upload it when you want to change it or add a backup file. And you can search the camera for events here, where the events occur. Smart motion, that just shows smart motion actually, but event settings. Motion detection for each camera. You could set up events for each camera. It sends you an email and a snapshot if you want of an event. If it does a video, it takes a few seconds before the event occurs, and then it goes for 10 seconds and sends you a 10-second video to your phone or your Android device. If you select the camera, you enable it, and you could go into setup, and you can actually block out certain areas that the motion detection won't find, so that if you have a squirrel in a certain area every day, you can block that out and he won't trigger the events to be recorded. Schedule, I have it 24/7. As you can see, you can take parts out and then save it, and then it won't record on those hours or days or whatever, but I have 24/7. Sequence allows you, when an event occurs, like on camera 1, you could actually enable this and have all the cameras start recording because of that one hit on one camera. But I record 24/7, don't need it. Buzzer, if some event occurs, it actually buzzes a buzzer in the camera so that the person knows. It's like a deterrence kind of thing. Video loss, if your camera gets disabled or turns off or something, this will let you know by an email or a picture and send you a snapshot of the problem. It'll buzz this system, the DVR system, that you have a camera failure. And there's some other things here. I guess you could do a sequence, and then it'll buzz every camera on the system that you had a camera failure or something. It's more of a deterrence. Here's the deterrence actually, and you can set up a warning light. It could be a strobe. The light is an LED. If they look, they can see it, but if you're not paying attention, you could almost just ignore it. If you strobe it, it most likely would be more of a deterrent, I guess, because then you'll notice something blinking. Actually, I might want to do that sometime. And you could block out certain areas again that you don't want the event to occur. Face settings, you could set up a schedule for when it determines when you want to record face recognition. The face database is there. You have to enable all this and stuff, which I'm not going to do. There's your face database. You can add a face database. You give it a name and whatever. You could create them here, I guess, modeling. You gotta create one first. Warning, this is if your hard drive is offline. Well, yeah, there it is. If it's disk error, disk full, anything, it'll buzz this system. It'll send you an email that your hard drive is failing or turned off or something. If you have it so that it erases the last 30 minutes every time it runs out of space, you don't even have to worry about this pretty much. I don't have it set up really. Network, the same thing. If the cable gets unplugged or if there's a network outage or something, you could set an alert and a buzzer. I don't like setting the buzzer on this because then you have to get in here with the password and disable it. Event log, it shows you all the events that occurred over time. You could select a start and time and end time, and you could play that event. No results. Motion detection, that's funny. I guess you can't play it. Well, I guess you can mess around with that. You get back up an event. I think I just erased mine, that's why they're not showing up. And then finally, camera. This is the part that you're going to be using a lot more than any of the other stuff because there's some features in here that aren't available on the app and on the URL. So the first one you want to do is you can adjust the saturation, brightness, contrast, chroma, sharpness, and all that. Noise reduction is like if you don't want, if there's some kind of noise in there, you could block some of the noise. And I usually go with the defaults, except for in dark areas, like that's pretty dark. This is usually dark, and I usually brought the brightness up, but you can select the defaults and it'll change for each camera, the camera settings. I think that was it for that. Recording. This is where you set up how much you want to record a camera. Like these are all mostly 4K resolution, and I have the highest, the highest bit rate, which if you drop either of those or the frame rate per second, you'll get less quality video, but you'll be able to record more days. Like right now I can record like 6 or 7 days, but if you drop these things, as it's recording, it will cut back on space. Like if I went instead of 4096 bit rate, I go to 2048, it'll probably cut the videos in half as far as the size it requires. Substream, I think that's another camera too. I'm not sure what that actually does. Snapshot allows you to create snapshots. Right now it's a 1 second snapshot scheduled, and you could adjust that as you need. One snapshot, and that's like when you're going to send a clip to your phone and you want to have a snapshot like a thumbnail. This is where you go. Overview is like if you want to put your time and date and the camera name on your videos and superimpose it on every video. The only place you could change the camera name is here, and the date. There's no other where in the application and in the URL you can't do that, so you really need to get to the DVR to do this. And then you could adjust where you want it on the screen to be superimposed and apply, and that'll always record the date and time and the name of the camera whenever you're recording. Privacy masking, I think, lets you block out a certain area of the picture so that you can not record it. It leaves like a fuzzy pattern on there, but I have no interest in playing around with that. Pan and tilt, if you have better cameras, you can actually zoom in and have it applied, and it'll only record a small section of the video. You can do that with the motion detection. This actually adjusts the actual camera focus and stuff like that. These cameras aren't that good. They can't do some of these features, so I'm not even going to go over that. Camera cables set to auto. I guess you could have different kinds of cables that you can set up, but auto seems to work fine. CVI upgrade. If you have a USB stick with the latest firmware for the camera, you can add it in here, and then you could start an upgrade on those cameras' firmware. I haven't done it yet. I don't see what a camera firmware upgrade is going to give me, unless it allows me to pan and tilt and all that. Then maybe I'll think about it. But voice assistance. This is where you can enable voice assistance. You can do that from the DVR, I think, but mostly it's for like Google and Amazon, like the Dot, Alexa, and all that stuff. It supports one of those. I don't know which one right off, but you can set that up in here too. But I think that's a security risk, and I would never use like any of those products. So that's the full overview of the entire Lorix system. I have part 1 and an original review on my channel if you want to look at those. But this is the part 2 and the final review. Thank you.